What is going on? And welcome back to another episode of I Coach Nutrition Radio. Happy New Year to all of you watching this, listening to this. I appreciate all of you, all of your support on the podcast this year. I Coach Nutrition Radio. Really, this is just kind of a passion project for me, being able to, have my own podcast and be able to, do these once or twice a week. Ultimately, just providing, value to the listeners, to the audience, hoping at least to add value to your life. Taking all the knowledge that I've gained through going to school for 6 years, getting my nutrition degree, dropping $60,000 on doing that, obtaining countless certifications over the last 10 plus years, working with over 1,000 clients one-on-one over the last 10 years. And ultimately just taking all of that information and experience and being able to dive into y'all's questions, answer your questions, and ultimately be able to, provide as much value as possible in terms of answering those questions and helping to, educate y'all on all things nutrition and lifestyle habits, ultimately helping you to feel better, look better, perform better, ultimately, helping you to become the best version of you, to reach your God-given potential in life. And ultimately, filter through kind of the BS that's out there in the nutrition and fitness and supplement world, and teaching you, what really matters, right? And what actually to pay attention to, what actually to prioritize in order to get the most out of the time and energy that you're putting forth into living a healthy lifestyle. So, podcast topic for today, this is coming from a question from somebody that joined the private Facebook group there here recently. And the question was on how to calculate her macros, right? How to know what her body needs from a macronutrient standpoint. So I think the first thing we've got to do here is we've got to break down, what are macros, right? This is this like word that so many people have been using over the years. But essentially macros are the macronutrients that we consume, right? And so this is broken down into protein, fat, and carbohydrates. And essentially, if you think about the total amount of protein, fats, and carbs that you consume, this makes up your total calories in your day, right? And so calories are ultimately just broken down into proteins, fats, and carbohydrates. And this is the category of macronutrients, which is really the quantity side of the equation when it comes to nutrition, right? And this is one side of what matters most from a nutrition standpoint. The other side is your micros, your micronutrients. These are your vitamins and minerals. Right, this ultimately determines your overall food quality in your diet. But both of these things are important. And for the sake of the question here today, we're going to dive into the macro side of things and how to calculate your macros. Now, for those of you that haven't gone on to iCoachNutrition.com and downloaded the free book, I did a whole entire book on literally anything and everything that you would ever need to know about nutrition. And one of the topics that's in there is how to calculate your macros. So I do a full breakdown in that. You can download that book for free. It's a PDF. It's like almost 100 pages. But you can go to the section there on macros and be able to read through that. And that'll kind of outline the framework for you there. Obviously, today I'm just going to talk through it for you. So the first thing that you need to do is you need to determine, before you can determine your macronutrients, you need to determine your calorie needs, right? So this is going to be dictated by, is your goal to maintain your weight? Is your goal to lose weight? Is your goal to gain weight, right? Ultimately, what is your goal? Because you need to know, right? Am I going to be wanting to eat in at maintenance calories, a calorie maintenance, or in a calorie deficit, or in a calorie surplus? Calorie deficit is going to make you lose weight. Maintenance calories is going to make you maintain weight, and a calorie surplus is going to make you gain weight, right? So that's what you need to determine first, right? And how do you determine what your maintenance calories are? Where a simple approach would be to go to tdeecalculator.net. And this ultimately stands for total daily energy expenditure. So total daily energy expenditure, or tdeecalculator.net, this is going to give you a calculator, right? That you can put in your info, your age, your height, your weight, your body fat percentage, if you know that number, your activity level, and ultimately it's going to give you kind of a ballpark number of where your maintenance calories are. So from there, you will know, okay, well, this is kind of ballpark number as to where my maintenance calories are. Less than that is kind of a ballpark number of where a calorie deficit is for me. And more than that is kind of ballpark number of where a calorie surplus is for me. So once you determine where you want your calories to be, now you can do the breakdown of your macronutrients. And so the first macronutrient that you're going to want to start with is your protein. So protein recommendations currently are taking your current body weight, or if you have a bunch of weight that you need to lose, right, or just weight to lose in general, right, then you would actually go off your goal body weight number. And so what you're going to do is you're going to take your body weight number or your goal body weight number, and you're going to multiply that number by 0.7, anywhere from the range of 0.7 to 1.0. Now, most people, I would just say start with 0.7, because if you're nowhere close to that, you're not going to want to go up to 1.0. So start with 0.7. That needs to be kind of the bare minimum protein number that you need to start working towards, even if you're way off of that currently. Okay. Now, again, let's say, for example, 0.07 for me was 150 grams of protein per day. Well, if I'm only consuming 75 grams of protein per day, I'm not going to just be able to jump to 150 grams of protein per day. I would need to slowly increase by maybe 5 to 10 grams every single week until I got to that point. So now we're talking about maybe a 3-month process to go from 75 grams to 150 grams. The reason being is that if you try to jump up too fast, number one, it's just going to be unrealistic to do so. But if you were to do it, right, you're going to experience bloating, a lot of digestive issues, gas. You're just going to feel very, very full. And it's just going to be an overwhelming, not great feeling, right? So like anything, too much of any good thing could be a bad thing, right? And so you want to slowly work your way in that direction. Now, if once I take that number, right? So let's say, for example, you take your body weight or your goal body weight, you multiply that number by 0.7, that's going to tell you how many grams of protein that you're going to want to consume per day. Okay. Now, 1 gram of protein equals 4 calories. So once you take that number and multiply it by 4, and that's going to be how many of your total calories are going to come from protein. Okay. From there, the next macronutrient is going to be taking determining your fat intake. Now, this is going to be a big range, just kind of dependent upon the person. This could be as low as 30, 40, 50 grams of fat per day, or it could be as high as 70, 80, or 80, 90, 100 grams of fat per day. But this is really just going to be a preference, because what matters most is your calorie intake and your protein intake. Your fat and carbohydrate intake is really just going to be based off your preferences. If you would rather have a higher fat diet and a lower carbohydrate diet, then do so. If you'd rather have a higher carbohydrate diet and a lower fat diet, do so. Ultimately, calories and protein are what matter most. Fats and carbohydrates are just more of a preference. Okay. So anywhere in the range, like I said, of as low as maybe 30, 40, 50 grams of fat per day, all the way up to 80, 90, 100 grams of fat per day. But 1 gram of fat equals 9 calories. So whatever number you go with, you're going to multiply that number by 9, and that's going to give you how many calories are going to come from fat in your diet. Now, you're going to add your total calories that come from protein, your total calories that come from fat, and that's going to now ultimately determine how many calories are left over, which are going to come from carbohydrates. Once you get that number, you're going to divide that by 4, because 1 gram of carbohydrate equals 4 calories. So you'll divide that number by 4, and that's going to give you how many grams of carbohydrates you're going to be consuming on a daily basis. Now, here's what I'll say with that. Even though carbs and fat are going to be mainly a preference, if you're somebody that is extremely active, working out all the time, you're going to want to choose to be on a higher carbohydrate diet and a lower fat diet. If you're somebody that's extremely sedentary and you don't really work out, well, then you're probably going to want to be on a higher fat diet and a lower carbohydrate diet. But again, ultimately, it's a preference, right? And as long as calories are treated as king, protein is treated as queen, the fats and the carbohydrates are going to be really the jacks and the jokers of the set. So this is a very simplistic approach as to how to determine your macro needs. Again, definitely check out the ebook that I created there. It's on the website, iCoachNutrition.com. Right when you go to the website, there'll be a pop-up that comes up. It has all of the information that you need to determine your macros, as well as tons of other information there on both the science and the application side of nutrition. And I think it'll be extremely helpful. If you have any questions, please drop them here below. If you're in the Facebook group, to the person that asked this question here, thank you. I appreciate you. If you have any questions, you want to dive deeper into this, comment on this video, or feel free to message me on Facebook there. Or if anybody else listening to the podcast here or watching this on YouTube, either comment below or shoot me a message. I would love to answer any questions that you have. And I'm wishing you the best as you move into this next year. I know a lot of people have a bunch of New Year's kind of goals that they want to accomplish. A lot of them are around their health and with nutrition and fitness. So anything that I can do to help you, to answer your questions, to add value to your life, just truly wishing you the best 2023 possible there. And I really want you to live, the healthiest life that you can, because you only get one life. You only get one opportunity. Right. And I really want you to be able to live the best life possible there. And I know that, and I'm a true believer that this is the foundation for being able to go out and feel your best and look your best and perform your best, right? And be your most confident self and become the best husband, father, dad, wife, mother, grandpa, grandma that you can possibly be, right? And become the best professionally that you possibly can be. Because when you feel your best, when you look your best, when you perform your best, that translates into every other aspect of your life. So cheers to you, my friend. I hope you have an amazing 2023. And I appreciate you always. Very grateful for all the support here in 2022. And we're rolling into year 6 of iCoach. So super excited. Lots of very cool things coming here in January and in the new year. You got a new app coming for the new workout program, finalizing the details there on that. And more details to come. So happy new year, and I'll see you in 2023. Thanks, guys. Bye.